Did you know that you can create custom masks inside CreateStudio and then have characters interact with different layers, even if you're working with single layered backgrounds inside CS? Well, you certainly can. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Ali, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to work with the pen tool to create custom masks with the help of TrackMatte using single layered backgrounds and have characters interact with different layers. That way you can create engaging and captivating videos to entertain your audience and really just have fun with your videos. And so before we dive deeper into this, I've got a great story that I want to share with you. Let's go ahead and watch it and come back into creating. I hope you enjoyed watching the story. Now it's time to start creating. And so I'm going to show you how to create the entire scene. So we have Linka walking into the scene, passing by the bed, and then we'll stand by the window. And then those kids are going to run in the backyard. And Danny would actually start by waving to Linka. Then she'll wave back to him, and that would be it. So we are going to use the pen tool, like I said, to create our custom masks because we have some curtains right there and we have the bed that we need to create some mask in order for us to get the character, pass through and show as if she's behind the bed. This is a single layered background, so I cannot make any manipulations to the actual background, but with the help of masking, I can really create engaging scenes just like this one. So without further ado, let's dive into creating. So I'm going to start by removing this thing and then go into my backgrounds over there. Head over to the 3D ones, then I'm going to find the bedroom that I want to use for this one. And so it's going to be this background, drag and drop it onto the canvas. I'll then extend it in the layer for now until 15 seconds. And then my first step would be to create my custom masks using the pen tool. And so the way how to use that, and first of all, I am not a good drawer. I'm not actually a drawer at all. Don't have any talent, but I just use the pen tool to follow some path and really just create my masks that way. In order to start creating the pen tool, this is what you want to do. You find where the plus icon shows up on the top, right next to the studio, and then click that, and then you can simply select the pen tool. There's a shortcut where you can just click or hold the shift button along with the letter P to start the pen tool. So you can just click that, and then now we're into the pen tool editor. The way how to use that, the instructions are going to show up to you whether on the left side or the right side, depending on what size of the screen you're working on. But the instructions are very simple. So you can go ahead and read the instructions and then start using the pen tool. But again, if you follow along with me step by step, you'll be able to create your masks. And so I'm going to start by creating a mask for the window right there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mouse and simply just make clicks to add dots, right? So I'm going to go with my mouse right there at this point on the top left corner of the window right there, add my first dot. Then I'm going to go around the shape right there so I can create my mask however I want. And so when it comes to the curtain, we need to have a curved line. So what I typically do, and I'm not sure about others, sometimes they, add a few dots and then make the lines curvy. I'm not that guy. I usually just add, lots of dots in between like this. I keep clicking to add dots until I basically have my mask, covering the whole area like this. And when you're done creating, you can simply adjust the position of each dot, to play with the line and adjust its position and all of that. And once you're done, you simply go ahead and click on where it says connect shape at the bottom right above or right above the timeline on the right side, connect shape. And now we have our first shape. Then our next step would be to simply remove the border from settings. So we have 3 pixels of border. We can just remove that. And then we're going to start the pen tool again to create another mask for the window on the right side. So we're going to go back and click on the plus icon right there on the top, and then click on the pen tool. Now we're going to start using the pen tool again to make another, I need to deselect that and click on the plus icon one more time. Click on the pen tool so I can start drawing my shape right there for the other window right here. like this. I start with the easy stuff first before I get into the curtain part of it. And then I just keep adding more lines like this until I reach out my goal to where the shape should end up. And you can fine tune the shape, along the way while you're making adjustments. When you're done, you simply click on Connect Shape one more time. Don't forget to remove the border width and make it 0 like this, and then deselect that. Then we're going to click on the plus icon one more time, click the pen tool, and we're going to go for the other one. Now, the reason we're using the pen tool, because sometimes you want to create a custom mask where there's an object like this on the window as well as the curtain. So you need to have some curved lines. And so with the shapes available inside the studio, you can't really adjust any of the shapes available in there and adjust their lines and make them curvy or anything like that. It's best to use the pen tool at this point to create a custom mask exactly how you want. So all I'm doing is just following, an outline to where I want to create this mask and go around the shape exactly how I want, just like that, and simply create my mask that way. So I'm going to keep going right there as I create my mask until I'm quite happy with how it looks like. Then we're going to go and add a straight line right there. And then we need another curvy line right here around the curtain there. Yep. And then we can make adjustments right there. When we're done, we can simply go back and again, click on Connect Shape to connect it. And then now we have our custom shape and we want to remove the border width, make it 0. Deselect that and then click on the plus icon one more time, use the pen tool, and then we finally draw our last shape for this window. So it's going to start from here, add another dot right there to make it a line. Then we make another one right there. And then we're going to go and add another one right here and another one right there. And it's just about this little bit curvy line for the curtain right there until I'm happy. And again, you can make adjustments as you go along while creating this to make sure that you're happy with your custom mask exactly how you want. And when you're done, click on Connect Shape and then simply take off the border and make it 0. Then when you're done, this is what you want to do. We're going to expand the timeline a little bit more, and then I'm going to select all my path layers that I created in the timeline, and then I'm going to drag them away or line them up with my background, highlight them all together. Then I'm going to hit the Control and the letter G to group this up. You can right click and choose group if you want to. I'm going to right click and then call this mask for Danny. All right, we need to have a couple of those. So we're going to make a duplicate of it. So I'm going to hit Control D to make a duplicate, and then I'm going to rename this guy and call this mask for Bella, right? So remove Danny and then call it Bella. Now we have a couple of masks right there. The only other mask that we need to create as well would be for the bed, just so we can have Linka go and walk through and then pass by the bed and show as if she's behind the bed. Because if I were to go right there and grab Linka and show you, if I want to have her behind the bed, obviously we cannot make that happen because the bed is in the background, right? So we can't do that. So this is where we play with the pen tool and leverage the power of it to create a custom shape and make it look like Linka is actually behind the bed. So again, I'm going to go back and then click on the plus icon one more time and use the pen tool. And this is how I want to start. Usually I start from there, right here where the pillow is. And the reason I'm doing that, because I want to give myself, space, because maybe I want to use this background or this mask a little later where I can have my character go into this area of the background and still looks like she's behind, or he, whatever character I use, is going to be behind the bed. So I always make sure that I give myself, more space for my mask. So whenever I want to have a character behind this mask or behind the object that I'm trying to create, then I would have it ready for me to use. So again, as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm following a path around the blanket on top of the bed, and basically just going around the edges to make sure that my mask is basically going to fit exactly around the bed. So I can end up with another layer of my bed and use it as an additional layer on top of the bed. That way I can have my character be behind, or look, like she's behind the bed. Now, while you're making the adjustments, so you can see me clicking on different dots to make adjustments. It's very important when you're about to continue adding more dots to create your path. You need to go to the latest dot that you created, which is this one, selected, and then keep going. That way you can easily create, your lines without any problem. And we're gonna have to keep zooming in and out until we reach the point where we create our entire mask. Now, I'm not going to make it really perfect just for the sake of the training, but trying to, get it as fast as I could. I'm not even going to, fast forward this, because I really want you to see the process of making this so you can follow along with me and be able to create your mask and really just take your time creating this. Now you can see there's a little bit of gap right here. So we want to bear that in mind also while we're creating our mask right there. And then we go back right here because the character is going to show up in this position. So we want to make sure that we have some distance for this as well. Then we're going to add a straight line right there. And we just fine tune it right here. Click on the latest dot again, right there. And then we can just go with another straight line right here. And that's pretty much it. So we don't need to be, perfect, from here all the way until then. So I can just go with a straight line right there. I can go with another one, right here and there, right? This can be random. That's fine because, this doesn't matter for us. The character is not going to, go anywhere here or near this position of the bed or the placement of the bed. Character is only going to be right there behind the bed, right at the window, right? So all I'm doing is I'm just going with random shapes, or random lines right there. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to click on connect shape. Now I have my shape ready. Then I'm going to remove the border, as you can see. And then I'm going to make a duplicate of my background, right? So I'm going to select my background, hit Control G to make, oops, I'm sorry. I need to select my background, hit Control D to make a duplicate. And I'm going to select it along with the path of the bed that I created. Right click, then I can mask these guys. And then I'm going to right click and then name this one and call it bed, right? Now, when I try to move this, you can see that it became an additional layer for the bed. That way I can have Linka pass by the bed and look like she's behind it. Now it's time for us to start creating adding our characters and, animate them, right? So I'm going to start with Linka. So I'll open up my 3D creators and then grab Linka right there. And then I'm going to click on the rotate icon that shows above the character, rotate her in the right angle or like this. And then I click and rotate again to exit the rotation mode. And I could just change the outfit for her and choose the one that was in the video. And that was this one right here. And so we're going to need to add a few actions. So we need to set up our actions for the character as our first step. So her first action would be walking. So I'll click on where it says idle on the character. Then I'm going to change that to walking by scrolling through the list of actions and click on walking. Then she's going to be idle. Then I'm going to click on add new, and then I'll choose idle right there. Then I'm going to add another action, and this one is going to be waving right here. Now I'm going to extend the idle action a little bit more in the timeline like this. And then now let's set up our walking action for Linka. So first of all, I'm going to select click on the walking action to disable the start animation so that she can start walking from the very beginning. And it looks like I need to rotate her again. So click on the rotate icon, make sure she is still in the right angle. And then from there, I can add my keyframes. So I'm going to select Linka, click on add animation above the timeline. Then I'll do position and scale because we're going to have Linka walk, from outside the scene, getting closer to the window. So we need to bear in mind perspective. And then I'm going to click on easing. We choose linear for both in and out. Then I'm going to start by selecting my first keyframe and then get Linka over here out of the scene, make her a little bit bigger like this. And she just needs to be really close to the scene like this. And then before adjusting the second keyframe, I'll just position or move my playhead forward in time until I find the spot she's about to turn, right? So when she finishes walking, as we learned in the previous tutorial about the walk cycles of characters, if you haven't watched that, I'll link that up on the top right side of the corner of the screen. Click that to go back and then watch the tutorial of the walk cycle if you haven't watched it already, and then you can come back and continue to follow along with me on this one. So like I said, I'm going to make sure that I have my playhead exactly where she stops walking. Then I'll simply drag the second keyframe to where my playhead is at. Make sure this is selected and turned to blue. Then I'm going to scale down the character a little bit more right there, and then have her walk or stand by the window right there. And then when we're done, don't worry about the bed and all of that. We're going to take care of this later. But you can see when I move my playhead forward in time, she's going to start turning. So what we want to do at this point is we're going to have our playhead right on the middle of the second keyframe, right? And then click on Add Animation. Then we're going to go back to Properties, and we're going to choose Character View. Easing is going to be linear for both in and out. Then I'm just going to have my playhead start at the beginning of the idle action. So it's pretty much on the little square right there that separates between the walking and the idle action. Drag my second keyframe to where my playhead is at. Make sure it is selected. Click and rotate, and then keep her looking through the window right there. And she's just fine. Now she's going to stand idle right there, and then she's going to start waving. So I think we got her set up. It's time for us to grab the bed layer above her. So we can just drag this one above Linka right there. And as you can see, this is how smooth that is. She's just going to be walking. If I press play, show you what that looks like, and you can see how smooth that is. The character just keeps walking over there. And this is amazing, right? Incredible that we can have characters interact with different layers with the help of the pen tool, create track mat or masks, and have characters have fun in the scene. Next, I'm going to add Danny and Bella so that I can have them both run after each other, or Danny would run after Bella. So I'm going to start from the very beginning right there. And then I will start by adding Bella right there. And so I'm going to change her action from idle to running. So I'll find where running is from the action list. Choose running right there. Then I'm going to click on the running action on the character's track to disable start and end so that she can keep running the whole time. And she's already looking in the right angle, so that's fine. I don't need to rotate her or anything like that. We'll just go ahead and resize her. Oops, I did something wrong with the mask that I don't want to do. Select my character and then resize Bella right there. And so we're going to have her start walking from here, right there. And maybe we want to make her a little smaller, like this. So she's going to be starting from here. And so I'm going to grab my playhead right at the beginning of the character track in the timeline. And then I'm going to click on Add Animation. Easing is going to be linear. Then I'll do Properties. We'll choose Position and simply drag the second keyframe until the end of the character's track. Maybe you want to extend this a little more. So we're going to extend the action a little more right there. Just right about before the idle action ends for Linka. Then I'll simply drag or extend the keyframe until the end of the track right there. And I can simply hold the shift key with my mouse. I can just drag Linka over there to the left side of the window like this. Let's have a look at that and then find out how this looks like. There you go. So Bella is currently running. Now it's time to set up Danny and then have him run after her, right? So we're going to start a little bit after, Bella, gets into or close to the window right there. Then I'm going to drag or grab Danny and then add him right here. Okay. And then I'm going to change his action as well from idle to running. So we're going to find where running is and also check that. And then select the running action on the character's track, disable start and end so we can keep him running the whole time. And you can see Danny is running towards the right side. So instead of rotating the character, you can simply just go under settings, find where it says properties, click that, and then we're going to flip the character horizontally. That way he's going to be running in the right direction. Then I can simply just scale him down and have him right behind Bella right there. He maybe needs to be bigger in size like this. So he's going to start a little bit earlier than her. And then I'm going to extend his action right here. Okay, and then I'm going to click on add animation. I'll do position. Easing is going to be linear for both in and out. Then I'm going to select my second keyframe, drag it all the way until the end right here. And then I'm going to have Danny run, and he should be right here, for example, because that's the point where he's going to stop running. Then he's going to turn to Linka and then wave or say hi to her. Let's have a look at that and find out how this looks like overall. Then we can go from there. Press play. Okay, seems that Danny is kind of slower, so we're gonna have to make this happen faster. Say right about here. Until we fine tune the speed like this. Press play. Yep, he's just fine. Now we want to go ahead and then add another action for Danny. Then he's going to be waving. So we're going to choose wave right there. And let's just have a look. So he turns, he already looked like he starts to turn to Linka. Let's take a look if he's already looking at her. It doesn't look like that. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and, where the second keyframe ends on the running action, we're going to click on add animation. I will do linear as my easing. Properties would be character view. So I can, have Danny look in the right angle. Then I'm going to drag the second keyframe closer to the first one by a few frames. Make sure this is selected, click and rotate, and then have Danny pretty much keep looking at Linka, just like this. Right there, and then he's just going to be starting to wave, and then she's going to wave to him. Now she doesn't look like she's looking at him, so we'll fix that. But then let's have a look and see how we can fine tune all of this. Let's go back right there. Here, so right before she starts waving, we can select Linka, click on add animation. We'll do character view. Easing is going to be linear for both in and out. I'll drag the second keyframe and get it really close to the first keyframe. Then I can click and rotate and then have her look at Danny right there. And there you have it. Now let's go back and watch this whole thing before we apply some masks. Take a look. So they're both running after each other. Linka is just getting to until the window right there. And then now it's time for us to apply some masks. So here's what we want to do. Let me just extend the wave action for Danny a little bit more. And then we want to line up the backgrounds as well as the mask and everything else that we created in our scene like this. And then it's time for us to apply some track matte and masks, right? So our first step would be to apply a mask for Bella, okay? So to do that, I'm going to grab the mask for Bella, place it above the layers right there. And then I'm going to select Bella. So find where she is, select her, go under settings and find where it says track matte. Then we're going to open up the drop down menu. And then I'm going to choose mask for Bella. And don't forget to change the type from Luma to Alpha right there. Okay. And then I'm going to make another one. So I'll just go and select Danny. But before we do this, we grab the mask for Danny, make it above this one right there. And then I'm going to select Danny, go to settings where it says track matte, open the drop down menu, choose mask for Danny, and then change the type from Luma to Alpha like this. And let's have a look. Okay, so the next thing to do would be to grab Linka and make sure that Linka is above all the layers like this so that everything looks just fine. And then let's have a play. So this is the final scene after creating it and adding some masks. Press play and there you have it. How fun is that? So these guys are running right there. Except the bed that needs to be above Linka. So we're going to grab the bed layer again above Linka right there. Go back again, press play, and then take a look. This should be fine now. Everything is, wow, this is amazing. How cool is that? This is absolutely great. So this is how you can use the pen tool to create custom masks and have fun with your videos to get characters interact with different layers. Like I said, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.